children's rhyme, "Rain, rain, go away, come again some other day," is familiar to everyone. Unfortunately, it hasn't been known to produce the results requested. Rain. What does rain mean to you? It means many things to many people. To the poet, wildflowers. The farmer, a good growing season. The engineer, problems. It also means problems to the people of the Fresno area. Flooding problems that are associated with the growth of a city. It wasn't always this way. Mother Earth used to absorb the rainfall. Man changed all this when he moved into the area. For 75 years, he has been building and paving with little consideration for the flood and drainage problem. With all these new roofs and sidewalks and streets, the rain can't get to the earth anymore. Instead, it drains off these surfaces, flows over pavements, and ponds in natural low spots and behind man-made barriers. We call this problem flood control, but it's really drainage control. The days are past when water rushed out of the foothills into the canals to be brought into the metropolitan area. Built on Big Dry Creek by the Corps of Engineers, and this dam on Red Bank Creek built by the Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District prevent flooding from foothill runoff. Wherever it comes from, you know the results. You've driven through it, maybe even waded through it. So often, in fact, perhaps you tolerate the situation as a necessary evil. It's not necessary, and it's more evil than you realize. It's a serious health and welfare hazard. It's taking dollars out of your pocket. Paying extra tax dollars to buy and operate equipment, to put up barricades, to pump out low spots. After it is over, your tax dollars are used to clean up debris. When spring comes, streets must be repaired, again with your tax dollars. Standing water causes rapid deterioration. The Fresno area has many substandard streets. First-class pavement is not justified if frequent costly repairs must be made. People don't shop when they have to wade through water or can't see where to drive into market areas. Business suffers. means stock damage, another loss. Suffer too. It means cleaning up debris, buying new shrubs and plants, repairing a sinking foundation, overhauling a drowned-out furnace, or pumping out a flooded septic tank. Up all night with sandbags and shovel. It means depressed property values because of these conditions. It's not all dollars and cents either. There are intangibles. The health hazards, for example. In many areas throughout the city and adjacent county, heavy rains cause flooded septic tanks, and overloaded sanitary lines often spew raw sewage into the streets and onto adjacent property. An invitation to trouble, serious trouble. Don't underestimate the safety hazard either. Did you ever drive through a flooded intersection and then suddenly need your brakes? Maybe you've been lucky up to now. It could happen to you. Children are affected too. It's a chilling experience to watch them trying to get around a flooded area on a busy street on their way to or from school. Conditions exist. Why isn't something being done about them? The fact is that something is being done. One of the purposes of this film is to show what has been done and what still needs to be done to eliminate these conditions. In 1956, the Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District was voted into existence by a 5-to-1 majority. Let's examine how the district works, what it has accomplished, and what its problems are. Here's a map of the Flood Control District. There are 70 square miles within its boundaries. As the metropolitan area develops and grows, the district will expand with it. The district levies a small tax of 20 cents per $100 assessed valuation to finance its limited activities. This amount is not sufficient to solve the problem within a reasonable time, if at all. The only other source of funds presently available is from subdividers, who pay a drainage fee before they start their subdivisions. Other than this, construction funds must be raised by assessment or bonds. A good deal of the district's past effort has gone into engineering studies and work on a master drainage plan for the area. A rather simple but ingenious solution to the drainage problem has been developed. The master plan is a series of underground drain lines. which collect the storm waters and carry them to disposal or storage basins. These basins are generally about 8 to 10 acres in area, excavated to a depth of 6 to 8 feet to provide the required storage capacity. An average basin will serve a 500 to 600 acre area. The flood control district is divided into 50 areas, each with its own disposal basin, except in a few highly populated city areas where sites are not available. The basins hold the stormwater in storage and let it seep into the soil, where it will help replenish our groundwater supplies. When a project is completed, the disposal site is fenced, lawn is planted. It's landscaped, can be used as a recreation area and playground during the dry season. In the highly developed areas of the city, the waters will be pumped into the irrigation canals to be carried away. However, only a limited amount of drainage water can be taken care of this way. The size of the canals above and beyond the capacity needed for irrigation water is limited. In addition, the size of the canals gets smaller as they reach farther into the metropolitan area. This is just the opposite of the needs of the district. Because of the cost, enlarging the canals is economically infeasible. Purchasing the property along the canals to widen them would be too expensive. This, plus the necessity of rebuilding all of the bridge crossings and relocating all the utilities, would make this solution too expensive. Within the flood control district boundaries, the drainage problems fall in two categories. First, in the built-up areas, very little vacant land remains. It's here that the problem has grown steadily over the past 75 years. Now it has reached major proportions. The white line on this map outlines this developed area. Inside this line lies 85% of the badly flooded areas. Beyond the white line is the growth or undeveloped area. Here the problem is relatively simple and can be solved on a step-by-step basis as the area develops. A major factor is the availability of funds. As we mentioned previously, these funds are assessed against subdividers who pay them before they start construction. With these funds, the district can construct the underground drain lines before streets are put in. This saves the taxpayers money and makes it possible to keep ahead of the drainage problem. Subdividers or developers pay a certain amount if they build single-family residential developments, and because they produce more runoff water than single-family developments, the rates for duplex or apartment units are higher. High-density multiple family dwellings are assessed more yet, up to commercial properties, which are assessed the most of all. The fees vary with the amount of runoff contributed by various types of development. Here are two extremes. In an acre of medium-cost single-family homes, 25% of the water runs off. In a shopping center, 85% of the water gets into the streets. The large open area around a house allows much of the rain to soak into the ground. well-paved areas of a shopping center don't permit this to happen. In the past, much of the effort of the Flood Control District has gone into engineering studies and plans. It has also made a great deal of progress in eliminating the flood problem. Its program to acquire drainage basins has resulted in the purchase of 24 sites. These sites are purchased before their actual need to save your tax dollar. It costs about $75,000 to excavate the average basin. In time, they could be excavated at no cost by allowing builders who need filter to take it from these basins without charge. Over $500,000 has been saved during the past few years in this manner. However, it would take many years to accomplish all the excavation this way. In addition, the district has constructed over $1 million worth of drainage facilities, over half of which has been done with prepaid drainage fees. It has also built a dam reservoir on Red Bank Creek, which keeps foothill floodwaters from flowing into the district. Complete drainage systems have been constructed in Improvement District G and Improvement District F. Improvement District G is a 550-acre area around Chestnut and Olive where the people got tired of being flooded. With the district's assistance, an improvement district was formed. The Flood Control District constructed the drainage facilities needed and put it into operation. Now the area is free of its flooding problem. The cost, an average of $110 a lot, or about $10 a year for the 15-year bonding period, plus a reduction to 5 cents per $100 of assessed value on the tax rate. In addition, a recreational area is thrown in as a bonus. The story has been repeated in Drainage District F, in the northwest part of the district, with the same results. The district, with help of federal matching funds, has also completed a $130,000 construction project which disposes of drainage water from Fresno's new mall and other elements of the downtown redevelopment project. The district has accomplished a great deal with its limited resources, but its job has barely started. The drainage problem is difficult to solve, but only from the standpoint of financing. The master plan has been completed. The final engineering design presents no outstanding problems. The construction is relatively simple. But where does the money come from? It must come from the people, from you. Periodic flooding is a health and welfare hazard to the entire community. To most people, it's just an aggravating situation. They would rather put up with it than pay to correct it. The hidden costs, the tax money spent, the depressed property value, the health and welfare hazards are easily overlooked. The The situation has been tolerated for a long time. It cannot be ignored forever. Conditions will not get better, they will get worse. As growth continues and improvements are made, the situation will become more and more intolerable. Then, too, a most critical factor is being overlooked: the weather cycle. Fresno has grown complacent with years of modest rainfall. In March of 1965, over 2 inches of rain fell in 24 hours. In the record books, this is a modest rainfall which can be expected every 12 years on the average. It is inevitable that high-intensity rains will come again. During a storm in 1900, almost 3 inches of rain fell in 24 hours. Then, there were 15,000 people in what we now call the Fresno Metropolitan area. Today, there are over 300,000 people in this same area. In 10 years, there will be 400,000. What would happen today if 3 inches of rain fell in 24 hours? The result could be disastrous. What can be done to avoid such a calamity? The formation of improvement districts to finance corrective measures in individual drainage areas is the solution. Because each area has its own independent and self-contained system, the people of any one area can solve their problem anytime they desire. The flood control district stands ready to cooperate. At the request of a representative number of residents, the flood control district will announce its intention of undertaking a project in their area and will designate a time and place for a public hearing to be held. Maps showing location, extent, and estimated cost of the project will be available for inspection. At the hearing, the board of directors of the district will consider all statements on the proposed project and will answer all questions raised. At the conclusion of the hearing, the board may decide to go ahead with it or drop the project, depending upon the nature of the testimony offered. The problem is big, the solution costly, but it does not mean a heavy burden on the individual. The average cost to the homeowner would be about $160. If financed by 20-year bonds, this equals about $1 per month. Reduced flood control taxes would, in effect, lower this to 65 cents per month. Someday, the required drainage facilities must be built. The problem will continue to grow until citizens recognize the need for action. Each year of delay is costing more money. Construction costs have increased over 20% since 1959. A $1 million construction job today would have cost only $833,000 5 years ago. This same job will cost at least $1,200,000 5 years from now. The peculiarities of the weather are not subject to man's control. Heavy rains recorded in the past can come again any time. They will not wait on the completion of an adequate drainage system. Fresno, the growing, progressive city, the agribusiness center of the nation, will still be subjected to yearly flooding with its threat to the health and welfare of its citizens. Grows in stature, this blemish becomes more and more difficult to explain. The flood control district is doing what it can, but only with your aid can this old problem be quickly and economically resolved. It's up to you.